Good evening. A barrage of bullets fired in a Brampton driveway. One man survived, another didn't.
The brazen murder captured on camera. Police are now investigating why the pair were targeted. CTV's John Musselman spent the day at the scene and joins us with the very latest on what happened. John.
And that is the question, Nathan. Why was this man targeted? What is the motive here? But we have seen security video that shows the gunman fired multiple shots when he hit this man. This security video posted to social media shows two men standing beside a car parked in the driveway of this Brampton home. You will see a white car enter the frame. A gunman jumps out of the back seat. We have frozen the video at this point, but it shows the gunman firing at least 10 shots. There is a muzzle flash. One of the men is hit several times and collapses on the driveway. The second man is injured as he runs towards the house. Peel Regional Police say they are aware of this video, and they say this appears to be a targeted incident.
Clearly, this is early on in the investigation. This is a multifaceted investigation. We were going to look at this from every angle, whether it's organized crime or whether it's targeted or what the circumstances are specifically.
By daylight, there are bullet holes visible in the car the two men were standing beside last night. Yellow evidence markers line the driveway. Neighbors say the gun violence in this quiet, upscale neighborhood near Gorway Drive and Mayfield Road is unsettling.
It is disturbing, of course. A little bit scary, yeah.
It actually sounded like someone was trying to bang down my front door. It was that loud. And I immediately ran to my front window and see what was going on.
What'd you see?
I saw a car pull away, and then yeah, the guy was freaking out. He must have been in shock. He was freaking out. He was kind of screaming. And
it's scary because this is a very nice area. I've been here like over 13 years, and I've never seen anything like this. And this side is really nice. Like, it's very quiet. I go for walks.
Police have not released the identity of the man who was killed. Neighbors believe the home was rented out. Meanwhile, Peel Police say they believe this shooting is connected to another shooting in nearby Caledon last night. It happened around midnight near Centerville Creek Road and Mayfield Road. No injuries were reported in that shooting. Back at the house, forensic officers spent the day gathering evidence in connection with last night's shooting. Police are looking for a white four-door sedan, which matches the car seen in the security video. And in that security video, the two men on the driveway appeared to be clearing snow off their vehicle. That's when the white car appeared and the gunman got out. If you recognize that car, you're asked to call Peel Regional Police or Crime Stoppers. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Just ahead, get ready to pay more at the grocery store. We'll tell you why the cost of groceries is expected to rise in 2025 and what shoppers may be able to do for relief.
The Premier is taking aim at homeless encampments, announcing new legislation to crack down on what is a challenging issue for communities across our province.
A slew of mayors had asked for help. The question now is, what will that help look like? CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris joins us with more. Siobhan.
Well, the Premier has indicated there will be funding coming next week to help add more space in shelters and new powers for police. There's not consensus, though, among mayors whether this is the right kind of help.
The government's preparing legislation for next week to crack down on homeless encampments. The Association of Municipalities of Ontario counted 1,400 of them last year.
We've heard the people of the province of Ontario loud and clear. We've heard from our municipal friends loud and clear. They want the encampments cleared out.
There are promises for more funding for shelter space, tools for police to crack down on illegal drugs in public, penalties for those who continually break the law, and new approaches to treatment and rehab.
We think that the resources that we're providing next week and the enhancements that we're providing next week will allow our partners to remove encampments.
So Doug Ford says he doesn't think he'll have to use the notwithstanding clause to override the charter, but it's a tool he is prepared to reach for if necessary. Earlier this fall, the Premier dared mayors to ask him to.
Let's see if they have the backbone to do it.
A 2023 court decision blocks municipalities from clearing encampments unless there's a shelter space for the homeless to go to.
This is an incredible step forward.
The mayor of Barrie, one of more than a dozen who asked the premier for these measures.
They have to be used incredibly cautiously. They have to be well organized, and we need to make sure that we're continually investing.
The mayor of Toronto, skeptical.
We don't need to clog up our courts to deal with encampments.
Condemning the contemplation of the notwithstanding clause.
Help us build more supportive housing. Help us create more shelters. Help us bring people indoor. At the end of the day, that is what will work.
For the provincial opposition, the devil's in the details.
I want to see what he's offering up, but if there are not real housing solutions included in that legislation, then we're going to have to keep pushing for that.
There are also accusations more financial help for cities comes too late.
Now we're at a crisis point, and the premier's solution is to tell people to leave when they have no place to go.
There should have been a strategy years ago, not months ago, with funding attached.
Well, the last time the Ford government invoked the notwithstanding clause was 2 years ago, trying to prevent a strike by school support staff. It's a position they had to back off of after national outcry. So this time, this legislation is coming in the last few days of the legislative session before MPPs leave for the winter break. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. A live look outside as we turn our attention to the weather. And it is a frigid Thursday night, especially for a skate, but keep it moving definitely helps. We're into the minus territory, and with the wind chill, it feels like in the double digits below zero. But as far as snow goes, just a few flurries to contend with. Jessica Smith is taking in the evening air tonight in Brampton's Garden Square. How's it feel, Jess?
I can feel all of those minus 10 degrees when it comes to that wind chill, Michelle. But we're out here in Garden Square for a very special reason, for Toy Mountain. I got a posse of people here with me, wonderful people. But I want to talk about your forecast first. I got to get my job out of the way before I get to the fun stuff. It is obviously not warm, but you know what? It is December after all, and it kind of makes sense, right? We finally trended a little closer to that seasonal point. A few lake effect flurries throughout the day today, but that is to be expected as we have a northwesterly wind on and off throughout the day, really gusty at times, and it's going to remain so. We're looking at a couple of snow squall watches still in place in towards those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay, stretching all the way down to London, so everybody's getting a little something as we head through the evening. Now, it is a little cool out there. We're at -3, feeling like -11, and everyone's got those wind chills kicking off. And it is December. We're looking at this being a pretty typical thing, but we are down here with the wind for Toy Mountain, and it is so much fun. We're outside, but are we cold?
Freezing.
You're supposed to say no. We have a ton of counselors here. Introduce yourself for me.
Mark Maderos, Wards 3 and 4.
I'm Paul Vicente, Wards 1 and 5.
And Rod Power, Wards 7 and 8.
Listen, the gang's all here. We're having so much fun. We have got carolers. We have got people donating toys. We have all these fun people spending some time with us outside, thinking warm thoughts as we get ready to build a big mountain of toys, because they're here for the Toy
Mountain!
One more time, just like a little bit louder. A Toy Mountain! That's what I'm talking about. Coming up throughout the show, we'll have more on the Toy Mountain escapades that we have here at Garden Square in Brampton. But for now, I'll send things back inside. Think warm thoughts for us, please.
That's right. Stay warm. Thank you, Jess. Just ahead, meet the Toronto Tempo. Toronto's WNBA team won't hit the court for more than a year, but we're getting our first look at the new name and logo. We'll hear from fans and some of the Raptors in moments.
Peel police were investigating what led to a fatal crash in Mississauga early this morning. Emergency crews were called to Wolfdale Road and Central Parkway around 1:30, where a taxi crashed into a pole. The driver, a 25-year-old man, was pronounced dead on scene. There's no word if weather conditions played a factor.
York Regional Police were investigating after shots were fired at a home in Georgina. Police say a vehicle drove past a home near Canal Drive and Church Street around 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and multiple shots were fired. The house was hit by several bullets, but there were no injuries. A dark-colored SUV was seen traveling eastbound on Church Street. Investigators are looking for any video surveillance or dash cam video from the area around the time of the shooting. And 3 men are facing charges after police found more than 50 vehicles at a chop shop south of Cambridge. Waterloo Regional Police say they uncovered the operation in November when they were told a Toyota Tundra that had been stolen from the GTA would be found there. Police say 2 other Lexus vehicles stolen from the GTA were also found. In total, 52 vehicles worth a total of $4 million were recovered. Police say most of them had been stripped for parts that were being sent overseas to repair other stolen vehicles.
Is it a make or miss? Toronto's first WNBA team has a name, the Tempo.
The name and logo inspired by the rhythm of the city, country, and game of basketball. CTV's Sean Leathong has a reaction.
The time has come. Canada's first WNBA team has a name, and they are Toronto Tempo, with the name and logo revealed today.
It's not about being fast or slow. It's about the control of the game. And ultimately, as Canadians, we're not playing someone else's game. We're defining ours.
Toronto, welcome to the W.
Last May, it was announced that Toronto would be awarded an expansion franchise in the WNBA, a league that is over 20 years old and seeing great buzz with new stars getting attention. This morning, players from Canada's only NBA team reacted to the name.
RJ, Toronto Tempo, the new WNBA team. What are your thoughts?
I love it. I'm excited.
Mississauga's RJ Barrett says the name fits well.
I think it kind of makes sense. It's kind of cool. I think they did a great job with that.
Montreal's Chris Boucher says he hopes this name encapsulates the team identity.
I think Tempo is a really good name for a WNBA team, and hopefully it's a team that plays with speed and helps the tempo, so it goes with the name.
Back in September, Toronto's professional women's hockey team revealing their name as Toronto Scepters. Both the Scepters and Tempo will be playing home games at Coca-Cola Coliseum. Initially, the team put out a call of inspiration to name Toronto's WNBA franchise, and Tempo was submitted by several Canadians. So what do young fans think?
I think it's really good because, if you have a good tempo, it's a good pace,
I like that name. I think it suits it.
I just think it should be, better.
You got another idea?
No. I think it's really unique compared to the other names that I've heard. It's great because Toronto needs women's basketball players.
The release of Tempo had to be done quickly after the name was leaked yesterday, so fans will have to wait for merchandise.
Toronto sports fans will have to hold the Tempo for a little while. The WNBA will expand to 13 teams in 2025 when Golden State joins. Portland and Toronto will make it 14 and 15 franchises in 2026. Sean Leathong, CTV News.
To Parliament Hill now, where the Conservatives have tabled the latest in a series of non-confidence motions against Prime Minister Trudeau's minority government.
The official opposition turned their focus to the NDP in the wake of the party tearing up its parliamentary deal with the Liberals.
If they're so outraged at how bad this Prime Minister is, all the things that are happening in this country, if they are upset on their rights of labor and unionized workers to be able to strike, if they truly met what they said outside this chamber, if they truly met what they said during question period and debates, when the question gets called and we have to stand, they should easily say what millions of Canadians want them to finally say. They do not have confidence in this Prime Minister.
The Conservative motion quotes NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's criticism of the Liberals after they intervened in a rail work stoppage. Singh has already said he won't vote for the motion. The Liberals said the non-confidence motion was a, quote, ploy.
What we have, rather, is a Conservative leader and a Conservative party trying to gaslight Canadians into thinking they're friends of workers. They are not. This Conservative leader has attacked union jobs and union wages as fattened union contracts. But my colleagues and I are proud that we've turned back this movement, and proud of the significant progress that we've made over the years, and we're not going back, Mr. Speaker.
The vote on the non-confidence motion will take place in the House of Commons on Monday. NDP support for the Liberals means it will not be able to reach a majority.
The Prime Minister, meanwhile, addressed a special gathering of the Assembly of First Nations Chiefs in Ottawa.
But of course, for all that we've been able to do together, there is much more to do. And I feel the same urgency as you do to move forward, because every day that goes by, there are more problems that we haven't resolved, and there are more issues that we need to keep working on. But as we do it together, we will continue to show up, we will continue to listen, we will continue to work with you as true partners in the future of this beautiful land that we live on.
The Assembly is calling for a national inquiry into systemic racism in policing and police-related deaths involving First Nations people. They also discussed 9 resolutions dedicated to reforming the First Nations Child and Family Services Program. This after chiefs in October voted against a $47 billion deal with Canada to do just that.
A new report suggests the soaring costs of groceries in this country won't be coming down anytime soon.
CTV's Paul Hollingsworth breaks down the forecasted increases and where Canadians will likely feel the pinch.
Shoppers say groceries are expensive, and the idea of more price hikes is hard to swallow.
Prices are rising and nothing really seems to be declining.
No. Shouldn't be that much.
But shoppers should brace themselves for even more bad news. According to Canada's Food Price Report, the cost of groceries will rise as much as 5% in 2025, outpacing the Bank of Canada's target inflation rate of 2%. A family of 4 will spend close to $17,000 on food next year, an extra $801 compared to 2024. Bakery items, dairy products, and fruit will rise between 1% and 4%. Meat prices will jump as much as 6%. Vegetables and restaurant meals could see a 5% hike. Sylvain Charlebois says some of these increases were predictable based on the current economic climate.
Vegetables are likely to be impacted by a lower dollar versus the American dollar. We import a lot of vegetables from outside our country, unfortunately.
The news may sound bleak, but there are ways for savvy shoppers to get some financial relief.
The one thing I would suggest to your viewers right now is to look for loyalty programs.
Charlebois says those programs offer more savings than ever as grocery chains look to attract repeat customers. President-elect Donald Trump's threat to impose 25% tariffs on Canada could further weaken the loonie and drive up prices for food importers, which could cause even more inflation in the future. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
The Canada Post workers' strike has now reached the 3-week mark, but there are signs talks between the two sides may be resuming. Canada Post says it's reviewing a new counter-proposal submitted by the union representing more than 55,000 postal workers. The union says it's ready to get back to federal mediation, which was put on pause last week. One of the key issues has been a push to expand delivery to the weekend, but the two sides are at odds over how to staff the expansion. Canada Post has pitched the idea as a way to boost revenue as it's been struggling to compete with other delivery companies.
Police in New York are sharing new details as they search for the gunman who killed a healthcare executive yesterday in what's being called a targeted attack.
CTV's Joy Malbin has the latest on the investigation and a warning some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing.
Unmasked and smiling, police released new photos of a person of interest seen at a New York hostel where they believe the suspected gunman was staying. In this disturbing video, a masked man takes aim, shooting Brian Thompson, a healthcare executive, in the back and leg. A brazen attack outside a New York hotel yesterday morning. Police say the gunman had been waiting for his target for several minutes.
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
Another chilling clue. Investigators found bullet casings from the gun with the words delay and depose etched on them. Could it be a motive or a message to insurance companies who don't pay health claims?
We're reaching out to law enforcement in Minnesota, and we're also interviewing his co-workers and family members to see if there have been any specific threats against him in the past.
Thompson's wife, Paulette, told NBC her husband had recently received threats but didn't elaborate, telling a reporter her family is shattered.
Brian was a wonderful person with a big heart and who lived life to the fullest.
The suspect was spotted before the shooting at a local Starbucks and was last seen on an e-bike disappearing into Central Park.
Police are hoping a network of cameras will help them catch a killer, telling New Yorkers to be on alert as their manhunt intensifies. Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
Incoming U.S. President Donald Trump's pick for defense secretary says he will fight to win confirmation and reportedly told one Republican senator that he would quit drinking alcohol if he gets the job. Pete Hegseth met with Republican lawmakers to try to address concerns about a series of misconduct allegations, including an allegation of sexual assault from 2017. The Washington Post cited a number of former Fox News employees who work with Hegseth who said they'd seen him drink at work events and while on the job.
Pete Hegseth went a long way today
in my opinion, in getting my full support. But I want him to be able to answer in front of everybody else the questions that are there and to do a good job on it. And that was my advice to him, was come prepared, be prepared to answer the questions. But look, I really think the president's got the right approach in this particular nominee.
This all comes amid reports that Trump's team is already considering other people to run the Pentagon, including former rival for the Republican nomination, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
In a new report, Amnesty International is accusing Israel of committing genocide in the Gaza Strip during its war with Hamas.
The Palestinians of Gaza have been held in a nightmare day after day. Utter carnage has unfolded in front of the very eyes of the world, and there is no end in sight.
The group says Israel's actions cannot be justified by Hamas's October 7th of 2023 attack. Amnesty International also says the U.S. and other allies of Israel could be complicit in genocide and calls on them to halt arms shipments to Israel. Israeli officials are rejecting the organization's claims.
Amnesty has a documented history of framing Israel as fundamentally illegitimate. For Amnesty, Israel was born guilty in 1948 and have been guilty ever since. They ignore the genocidal intent and actions of Hamas.
Here in Canada, Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly was asked about the Amnesty International report.
What is happening in Gaza is absolutely catastrophic. I've said that many times. We think, and we've been calling for it, we need a ceasefire. We need the hostages to be released. We need a plan with a two-state solution at the core of it. At NATO, the King of Jordan was there. So we had conversation about how can we make sure that we protect the West Bank and at the same time we be able to have a ceasefire in Gaza. And meanwhile, how can we put more pressure on Iran?
Iran is a close ally of militant groups Hamas and Hezbollah. Gaza's health ministry says Israel's offensive has killed over 44,000 Palestinians, more than half of them women and children.
Rebel groups in Syria have claimed control of another key city as their offensive against government forces continues. Rebel-affiliated media shared these images from the city of Hama in Syria's north. The Syrian army said it was redeploying outside the city to preserve civilian lives and prevent urban combat after what it called intense clashes. Also today, there was a stark warning from the leader of the UK's armed forces. Admiral Tony Radakin said the world stands at the cusp of a third nuclear age, defined by simultaneous challenges and weakened safeguards that kept previous threats in check. He specifically cited increased cooperation between North Korea and Russia amid the ongoing invasion of Ukraine. This comes as NATO calls for higher military spending targets from members, further than the 2% GDP level Canada has yet to meet.
The heartwarming sight of an otter mom and her pup playing and spinning in the water was captured on camera. Visitors at a Northern California harbor got a glimpse of the sea otters frolicking this week. Pupping season is at its peak right now, and people are being told to enjoy all the cuteness, but do it from a distance.
Coming up, the state of emergency. A new report shows 1 in 7 ER visits could potentially be handled by a family doctor or in primary care. A look at the data next.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, are you considering buying a new car? If you are, there's a new survey out today that ranks the best car brands. And there have been some changes over last year, including which one is in the top spots. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
A little below seasonal as we enter our Thursday in the city and really right across southern Ontario. And the wind chills are getting a little wicked out there, but we're still, holding on near that seasonal point. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast. And we're talking about Toy Mountain today. Obviously, we're outside for a reason, and I want to start with somebody very special. Mayor Patrick Brown, welcome to Toy Mountain, the 29th year. Why is it important to give back this time of year?
Well, the holiday season is about thinking of the less fortunate. Amazing that CTV has run this Toy Mountain for 29 years, supporting the Salvation Army, making sure everyone has a toy this Christmas. Absolutely beautiful. Honored to have CTV's Toy Mountain in Brampton once again.
It's been a blast, and your son Theo is here. He's got a donation ready to give, a little bit of Alamo. Shout out to Theo, what's up? And we're also getting a really, really big donation. This one, I want to talk to you. Okay. Introduce yourself. I don't need to, but you should introduce yourself.
Steve McDonald, and I'm from Mevotech. This is our 4th year here. We are an automotive aftermarket company specialized in engineering automotive aftermarket.
And you have a massive donation of toys? We'll take a look at this.
We're super excited to present.
There we go, $5,000. We'll have more on the 29th annual Toy Mountain after the break. Mevotech, thank you so much. I need a high five for that one. Hey, I'll send it back inside.
With car prices at record highs, buying a new vehicle is a big decision, and you want one that will keep you on the road and out of the shop.
Every year, Consumer Reports ranks the best car brands, and this year there have been some big changes in their list. Pat Foran has the story on Consumer Alert. Pat.
There have, Michelle and Nathan, thank you. Well, Toyota has been at the top of that list for many years, but this year dropped to 9th spot. There is a new leader when it comes to the best car brand you can buy. For the first time, Subaru took first place. Engineers and automotive experts at Consumer Reports put every car they buy through more than 50 tests.
Is everything, from acceleration and braking and high-speed maneuvers on the track.
Researchers compare over 250 models on road performance, comfort, reliability, owner satisfaction, and safety. And testing doesn't end at the office.
We live with these vehicles every single day. We take them home. We drive them on public roads. We put our families in them. We go to the grocery store. We use all of this data combined with our survey information to figure out who makes the best cars.
Among the 32 brands in the 2025 report card, the top 5 remain unchanged from last year, with one significant shift. Subaru claims the top spot. The reason, reliability.
When they design or redesign a new model, they tend to iterate on last year's models. And this approach tends to lend itself towards good reliability because they work out the kinks, so to speak, over time. On top of that, their vehicles perform well in our testing.
Also rounding out the top 5, BMW, Lexus, Porsche, and Honda.
Part of buying, testing, and living with these vehicles is not only experiencing what is good about them, the best scoring vehicles, but also the things that are maybe annoying or not so good.
At the bottom of the rankings, Dodge, GMC, Land Rover, Rivian, and Jeep.
Even top scoring brands can have vehicles that don't score so well. So it's really important that you do your research and you check the ratings for the vehicles that you're specifically interested in.
Researchers say that's especially true for bigger brands. The more choices there are, the more research you should do. And Consumer Reports also ranks brands that make the best used cars. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, they gave top marks to Lexus, Toyota, and Mazda. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Well, you can certainly feel that chill in the air.
It is a cold night, Jess, I'm sure. Well, you're bundled up, but you know what? Hey, it's how heartwarming is this? The big checks, we're raking them in tonight.
We definitely are. And if you have the right layers on, I've got my snow pants on. I got my extra layers. You know what? I came ready, guys. I came prepared. It's called fashion. No, it's function is what it is. But it is really cold out here, but it is December after all, and we are kind of warming up from the inside out when it comes to all the joy we're feeling here for Toy Mountain. I want to get the forecast out of the way first because I got to do that, and then we'll get to all the fun stuff. We got to do the business first, right? It has been a little bit chilly out there, and right now we're sitting at -3 in the city, really right around southern Ontario, including for us here in Brampton. Y'all, it's a little cold if I'm being honest with you, but you know what? We're all bundled up, and that wind chill is kind of around -10. This evening dropping down to -4, so it's actually pretty seasonal, but that wind chill feeling like -10 and really right around southern Ontario, those wind chill values into the double digits as we see a northwesterly wind carrying us through the evening into our Friday. Bundle up if you're heading after work or school because it's a little cool out there. It'll feel like -8 when you factor in that wind chill, and the wind chill is not chilling. It's with us for the rest of the week. As we make our way in towards the day tomorrow, we're still looking at some lake effect flurries. Thanks to that northwesterly flow to the winds, prompting those snow squall watches and warnings. So keep that in mind if you're traveling, especially into the day tomorrow. It is the holiday season. People are visiting friends, visiting family, and doing shopping and dropping off toys to Toy Mountain, obviously. You can check out our toymountain.ca to figure out where all those locations are. That low that made its way through behind it is a trough. That's what brought all of that kind of messy weather this morning. But for the most part, we're holding relatively clear in and around the GTA with a few light flurries here and there. timing it all out for the rest of our evening. Again, we're holding on to just cloud cover for the most part tonight, so we're getting a bit of a break from the snow unless you're along those eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. That's where they're still seeing the light flurries, but it's pretty typical for them as they make their way through this time of the year. Into your Friday afternoon, more cloud cover out there, but we're steering clear of the snow at least for a little while longer. Now, stepping into Saturday, things are a little bit different out there. We're still watching for some flurries late in the day, so keep that in mind and give yourself extra time for all that travel that I'm sure a lot of folks are doing this time of year. And then we get into Sunday, and then everything changes. If you like the cold, I'm sorry, I got nothing for you. It gets a little bit warmer as we head in towards your weekend. We start to see a bit of a shift take place on Saturday after we watch those flurries go through, a bit of a change in the winds once again, and we get up to 6 degrees on your Sunday. We're still holding on to cloud cover out there, so you'll still need some of those layers, but at least we're sitting above that seasonal point. Into your Monday, your Tuesday, your Wednesday, still sitting above seasonal. We don't cool back down until Thursday, so the potential for some flash freezing is going to be there, and we're also watching for a little bit of rain as we head into your Monday and Tuesday. But listen, I'm here for a very particular reason, and it is for Toy Mountain, and we're going to talk to RCC Media. There is a truck full of toys behind me. I have Tony here. Talk to me about what you guys have done, because I feel like this is no small feat. That is what, $40,000 worth of toys.
Yeah. So this is our second year in Brampton, and we started a business relationship with Brampton last couple of years. So we want to give back to the community, and thinking of someone getting a toy on Christmas Day it's kind of hurt us. So.
Listen, it's really special, and I feel like for everybody here, I mean, when we pulled up, I'm like, yeah, it's a really cool truck, and then you open the truck, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's a lot of toys. So thank you so much. It's really appreciated, and I know it's going to make a difference for everybody. A round of applause. It's kind of muffled because everyone's wearing gloves, but we have lots of fun people here. We've also got the Honey Badgers. Shout out to the Honey Badgers. Sup, y'all? And you got a toy too? Listen, I appreciate it. We love the donations from everybody, and we like to support the local sports teams. Now, we also have some really special people. Come on over, guys. Listen, I can sing, but it's strange. It's only when I'm in the car and the radio is like really, really loud. For some reason, I can only harmonize when the music is loud. But I want to pop over here, get you to introduce yourself. Tell me your name.
Hi, my name is Idris.
Idris is not wearing gloves for a particular reason because he's going to play the guitar, but you guys have a donation. Tell me, why is it so important to give back this time of year?
We're here because this toy drive is so important, and it's really special when you give kids that need
toys.
Yeah, toys. Because you never know when they're gonna need it, especially during the holiday season, and your good deeds always come back to you. We all want to see all the kids have big smiles on their faces this holiday season and have that holiday spirit. We hold Brampton very close to our hearts because we come here every year to do a show. We're coming back here to the Rose Theater this March, and this community always gives so much to us. They always cheer so loud for us, and we really just want to give back to them. Thank you so much.
Listen, the Mini Pop kids, they are legit. Listen, I told you guys, like, I would sing for you, but I'll be honest with you, for some reason, it's just, I can only harmonize when the music is louder than I am. It's just, I'm talking to somebody about it. But you guys have a song for us. I asked for this one because I think it just summarizes what we feel this time of the season. Can you tell me what you're going to sing?
We are going to sing Last Christmas.
You guys take it away. We're going to keep talking, but we have all kinds of great things. You can visit toymountain.ca for more information on how to donate in all the different locations. And I have to say, it is really heartwarming. It is absolutely not warm outside, but it is December after all, and everybody here is layered up accordingly. They've got their antlers on. We have the Honey Badgers here. We have RCC Media. Everyone is here to help give somebody a special Christmas. When it comes to Toy Mountain, we're celebrating 29 years of giving back and celebrating community. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let them sing because they're the professionals, okay? We're going to let them take it away. This is the Mini Pop Kids with Last Christmas.
Give you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it.
You can visit toymountain.ca for more information on how you can donate and all the locations we're going to be at for the rest of the Toy Mountain season. Make sure you tune into the rest of the show. We have so much more, and we have live music to take us into the break.
Oh, wish we could hear the whole song. Thank you. Appreciate it. Also tonight, how sweet it is. A new study highlights the benefits of eating dark chocolate and why a daily dose might lower the risk of diabetes. A new report shows many emergency room visits could be handled by other health professionals.
CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
A new report from the Canadian Institute for Health Information, or CIHI, looks at emergency room data from 6 provinces and territories.
And so we're looking at about over 1 million visits.
The study found that a significant number of ER visits could have been handled by a primary care physician.
We found that 15% of emergency department visits were for conditions that could be managed in primary care. That's about 1 in 7 ED visits. Over half, that's about 9%, could potentially have been managed virtually.
The conditions include things like rashes, sore throat, and prescription refills. And the number of children going to emergency instead of a pediatrician or family doctor is particularly high.
It's about 26% of ED visits could be managed in primary care for among children that are aged from 2 to 9. Which is really showing us that parents are really struggling to get the care when they need it for their children. Canadians are facing major challenges with accessing quality family health services, and that over 5 million Canadian adults don't have a family doctor, and even those that do have trouble accessing care in a timely way.
Shelley Petit does have a family doctor to help manage her multiple chemical sensitivities, but he was on other duties when she had chest pains last summer.
I did not need to go to the ER, but I had no choice because of the way the system's set up. And it's one of those unfortunate things.
She was later able to set up other arrangements with her doctor, and she's glad he's embraced virtual care.
I think we need more outside of the box thinking, but without putting more pressure on doctors and on nurses.
Sunita Karmakar-Hoare says training more doctors is one solution, but also sharing more healthcare duties with other professionals like pharmacists and optometrists. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A new study out of the U.S. is raising hopes for new ways to treat depression. Neuroscientists at the University of California, San Francisco, observed mice that had been placed under high levels of stress. They were found to be less likely to feel enjoyment or pleasure in future situations. The researchers spotted that the depressed mice had less communication going on between 2 brain regions vital to processing emotions, but they behaved more like non-stressed mice when given treatments to increase brain activity in the target areas. The findings were published in the journal Nature.
Good news for dark chocolate lovers. A new study suggests the sweet treat may have health benefits. Dark chocolate contains more cacao, which is less processed than what is in milk chocolate. A new study showed it's possible high levels of flavanols can improve insulin sensitivity, therefore reducing the risk of diabetes. Not all doctors are convinced, with one saying he would not encourage people with diabetes to consume chocolate for better glucose control, but instead turn to dark berries, apples, and tea. After the break, housing prices are expected to rise in the new year, why realtors believe a strong market rebound is around the corner.
It actually sounded like someone was trying to bang down my front door. It was that loud. I immediately ran to my front window and see what was going on. I saw a car pull away. Yeah, the guy was freaking out. He must have been in shock. He was freaking out. He was kind of screaming.
Updating our top stories, a brazen shooting in Brampton, all caught on camera. 1 man is dead, another's in hospital after a late-night shooting. 2 men were gunned down in a driveway. Tonight, Peel Police are searching for suspects.
You've heard the people of the province of Ontario loud and clear. We've heard from our municipal friends loud and clear. They want the encampments cleared out.
The provincial government announcing today they're introducing new legislation to help municipalities deal with the issue of homeless encampments. A number of Ontario mayors had asked the province for help. Details on what the legislation will include have not been released.
As Canadians, we're not playing someone else's game, we're defining ours.
And Toronto's professional women's basketball team has a new name and logo. The Toronto Tempo will tip off in 2026. The official announcement came a day after the name was leaked online.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video of breaking news, let us know.
On the markets, the dollar was up, closing at 71.31 cents U.S. Oil closed down more than $1.25, finishing the day at $55.90 a barrel. And the TSX was up nearly 40 points today, closing at just over 25,680.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
BMO Financial Group significantly missed earnings expectations after it once again set aside much more money than expected to cover potential loan losses. The bank still closed up by about 4% for the day. The same can't be said for TD Bank, which saw shares drop 7% today. That followed a move by Canada's second largest lender to suspend its earnings forecast. TD said it's doing so as it takes into account a multi-billion-dollar penalty following a U.S. probe into its anti-money laundering program.
Honda is recalling over 200,000 vehicles in Canada and the U.S. over fuel leak concerns. The recall includes 2023 and 2024 Honda Passports, as well as Honda Pilots for model years 2023 to 2025. The automaker says an issue with the fuel pipe could cause it to disconnect, and in the event of a crash, it may increase the risk of a fire. Owners of all affected models are asked to take their vehicles to an authorized Honda dealer for inspection.
Royal LePage says home prices in Canada will rebound next year, thanks in part to lower interest rates. The real estate giant is forecasting the aggregate price of a home in Canada will increase 6% year over year in the fourth quarter of 2025. The price of detached homes is expected to jump 7%, while condo prices are forecast to increase 3.5%. In the GTA, the aggregate price for a home is predicted to rise by 5%. to more than $1.2 million.
Advertisers could be paying even more attention to TikTok under a new deal with media measurement giant Nielsen. Nielsen is known for measuring the sizes of TV, radio, and other broadcast audiences. This agreement with TikTok will see the company track the performance of paid content on the social media platform. Advertisers would then be able to compare the reach and results to how well those ads performed on other screens. The deal comes as TikTok faces a countdown to a potential ban in the U.S. if it's not sold to an American company. TikTok has denied allegations its Chinese ownership makes it a security threat.
Just ahead, it's a Christmas tradition in New York City, a magnificent sign of the holiday season, flipping the switch on the Rockefeller Christmas tree. Just ahead.
And another sign of the holiday season is Toy Mountain. We're down here at Garden Square in Brampton, and we're having a ton of fun out here. There's lots of people donating some awesome toys. I want to give a shout out to the Mississauga Bass Masters Club. They just made a donation a few minutes ago, and we want to see your pictures of your donations. You can send them to toy.mountain@bellmedia.ca, and make sure you send us your photos of you donating your toys or just collecting toys for those in need. Coming up, we'll have more on your forecast and on Toy Mountain as we continue to build a Toy Mountain. That's what I'm talking about. We'll send it back inside.
It's an annual Christmas tradition.
A holiday favorite for New Yorkers and tourists alike. Crowds gathered to celebrate the lighting of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree in New York City last night. The tradition dates back to 1933. This year, the tree dazzles with 50,000 lights. The tree will shine bright every day from 5 a.m. to midnight. On Christmas Eve, it'll stay lit for 24 hours. It is lit.
And to another festive site in Brampton, Garden Square, lots of lights there. And the meaning of the season really is alive and well there with all the giving, Jess.
It really is. It's lit down here, too, in a lot of different ways. We're having a lot of fun. All the trees are lit up, and it looks really nice. Now, Erin, we're old friends now.
We are.
We've been doing this for a while, all of a couple of weeks. But talk to me about how things have kind of progressed with the Toy Mountain campaign so far.
Yeah, so things have progressed pretty well. We've seen so many great partners come out, donate toys. We had RCC Media here tonight, Mevotech, really great partners in this campaign. Our corporate partners do so much, as well as community groups who come out and donate the toys so that our team can get them out into the community based on, who needs them. So we're so grateful for everyone who's donating and making it possible for us to do the work.
And the donations, some of them can be started to picked up.
Absolutely, yes. So our locations, they'll have the toys. Our teams are collecting these, sorting them based on age group at our Toy Mountain headquarters, and then getting them to our locations where families can actually come who have registered for toy pickup to, sort of a shopping model many of our locations are doing, where a parent can choose their own toy for their own child. So they have the autonomy to make that choice for something that, their child would want. So we're working all together to make it possible.
Girl, we love to see it. I want to give a shout out to Sam from Brampton on stage. Hey, girl, how you doing? Good. How are you? I'm a little cold, but I'll be all right. We're having lots of fun down here. I want to get to the forecast because we have another fantastic performance coming up, but I have to do my job first. It is obviously a little chilly outside, but we have our layers on. We are prepared. This weather is okay as long as you are dressed accordingly. You have to make sure that you are layered up because it's a little windy. You're still looking at some lake effect snow, and temperature-wise, I'll be honest, guys, it doesn't get warmer, but that's okay. It's December, right? We're in the holiday spirit. And over the next 7 days, we're going to see a bit of a yo-yo with our temperatures. We're going from the freezing mark back up to 6 degrees, then to 5 degrees, back to 6 degrees, and then back down to the freezing mark. It is December, and it's going to do what December does. Now, we are down here for Toy Mountain. We want to see your pictures of your donations. You can send those pictures to toy.mountain@bellmedia.ca. I have the group here of the hour. I mean, everyone's been fantastic. But the mini pop kids are here. Can you sing us a break, guys? They're going to sing Mistletoe. Thank you guys so much for all you do to help the community. I'm going to let you take it away because you guys are the real talent.
Oh, thanks for the toys and the
Love those
sweet
mini
sounds.
pops.
That's it for us, but you can join Omar Sechenina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jess Smith, the whole team here.
Thank you, guys.